lines. It is 210-656 ESPN 210-3776. I'm James Pledger. Thank you for tuning in to Extra Innings with Pledger here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM. I am extremely jacked to be coming to you at the end of every day and kind of put a whole bunch of my thoughts on things that I've heard from the weekend. Of course, we've got game 5 of the finals coming up here in just about 28 minutes on San Antonio Sports Star as we get you ready for that. Lots to be said, lots for the Nuggets to close out. And as Joe was just talking about on the Blitz, it has this very Spurs vibe to this Nuggets team, from the players to the kind of lack of media attention they've gotten for most of this postseason. And remembering what it was like winning that very first title here in San Antonio, the thought process behind it, the excitement behind it. Joe said earlier today, 05 was his favorite against the Pistons. I get that. To me, my favorite Spurs championship moment was 2014, the revenge tour. That was a mission, start to finish, season to season, getting to play the exact same team that you lost to the year before. The revenge tour, that was the epitome of that. That's kind of one of my favorite moments. Also, because of how well that team played. That team was surgical, especially offensively, which they don't get enough credit for. And I loved that finals, that championship. But there's nothing like your first. And I remember as a Rockets fan, the first one they won with Hakeem and Ori and Sam Cassell. And it was a great feeling. Otis Thorpe was on that team. I remember the first one. It gave me the most vibes, the most feels. The second one was equally as good. I mean, you swept the dominant force that was Shaquille O'Neal. But it was a battle in that first one. I remember that. But for the Spurs, the first one didn't feel like a battle. Maybe to get to the finals, but it was a depleted Knicks team. It didn't have Patrick Ewing. You finished them off relatively easy. And that's kind of the parallels to this Nuggets team. I mean, it's a depleted Miami team. It is a bunch of no-names with one real star in Jimmy Butler, and he's been held in check for the majority of this series. But you've got Jokic, who's kind of the subdued undertone, like not a big media guy, very Tim Duncan-ish. And then you've got his running mate, of course, when you talk about Jamal Murray, who has been fantastic. And both of them play really well in a 1-2 game off each other. And then you've got the guy that's could be a star elsewhere, but he knows his role and he's sticking to it. And that's Aaron Gordon. And that's fantastic to have guys that are committed and buying in to stuff like that. You need those kind of guys on championship teams. So it's going to be very interesting, but it's a lot to get into and unpack before the tip-off of this series. I do think it ends today. I do think the Nuggets finish it out. They just look locked in, ready, and want this incredibly hard. And they're the more talented team. And when you combine want, focus, and talent, it's just very, very hard to overcome. And I do not see them, as Mike Malone says, having to fight off human nature and being too laxed or taking their foot off the gas. I think they can feel it, they can taste it, and they want to close this thing out and put this to bed. Something I'm going to do today. I'm going to pull one out on my way out the door for one of the best stories that I kind of saw from throughout the day or over the weekend. I'm going to go ahead and give that to you on our way out the door a little bit later in the show. Keep getting you ready for Game 5 of the NBA Finals. But I wanted to kind of recap some things that have gone on throughout the day here on San Antonio Sports Star and give my take on what's going on with it. And one of those things that's been going on is Wemby. Wemby played today. They're in an 0-2 hole. He had 17 points, played well, much better than he did in Game 1 against Monaco over there in the Pro A Series finale. But he is running to the better team. Monaco is the league leader for most of this. They were the favorites in this series. They are the better team. Wemby's the best player, but the better team is who they are facing. And right now, that team has a 2-0 series lead over Wemby and the Mets 92. But a lot's being made the closer we get, because you have to have something other than Wemby's great and we're going to take him number 1 overall, end of story, close the book. There's always something you have to talk about, to think about different angles of things. What if this, and we what if ourselves to death between now and when he actually takes the floor. And one of the big what ifs from a lot of people has to deal with his body type and his frame being 7'5", but looking very frail, because although he's 200 and something pounds, he's 7'5", so it stretches a lot higher than on most people. And then there is concern now because of his frame about longevity, health, etc. And Joe Reinagle is no exception to this. I'm sorry, buddy. You're the first one in the line of fire when Pledger gets the last word today. But you were talking about some things that Reggie Miller said on the Dan Patrick Show, and you've said them before, and I just don't agree with it.
Reggie Miller went on to say something else that some other people have said. And look, I don't care, and I'm not trying to bring the house down, and I don't think Reggie was trying to bring the house down either, but it is a concern, and it's something you might want to stick in the back of your mind when it comes to Wemby and injuries.
I saw an analyst who said that if Wembanyama is like Akeem and Kevin Durant and one other person, that would be a disappointment for his career.
I would say that.
I would too.
Kevin Durant. If this kid is a mixture of that, my only concern is he looks like me at 7'5". Knock on wood. I knock on wood. I was rarely injured throughout my 18-year, only ankle injuries. But I played on the perimeter. I'm not banging with the big boys. But it's not as physical as it was in the 80s and 90s. So he won't be banged up like those days. I just hope he doesn't get hurt, right? I pray he stays healthy. If he stays healthy, and everything I've seen on videotape, everything I've seen in scouting reports, if he plays like that, the future is his. So I'm excited for him.
Well, and obviously Spurs fans are excited for him too. They're excited for the team, but it begs the question, and I'd like to throw it out for your comments. Is that something you're worried about when it comes to Victor Wembanyama, Spurs fans? Just asking, is that something that's in the back of your mind? Look, big guys have had a history of injury. They have. It's just a fact. Chet Holmgren, the latest kid that was drafted by the Oklahoma City Thunder. I hope not. I'm sitting here watching. Pledge has got it on the computer screen here, and this kid has got skills that are incredible. He really does. I mean, there's no denying that. And I hope he comes in here and bulks up and it doesn't have an issue one. And Reggie's right when he talks about the NBA not being the physical, demanding sport that it once used to be.
That was Joe Reinagle a little bit earlier on the Blitz. Reggie Miller. And it's a common criticism I hear of Victor Wembanyama, because everybody's talking about him being one of the best players to come out since LeBron James and being one of the greatest prospects in the history of not only the NBA, but sports in general. If you listen to Adrian Wojnarowski, And so you have to comb through with a fine-tooth comb on things to nitpick. I get it. Injury is the equalizer for anyone. You can draft Scoot, you can draft Brandon Miller, you can draft whoever you want. Injury is going to be the great equalizer with anybody that you pick in the draft. It doesn't matter who it is. And I would say this about Victor Wembanyama. He's had no games missed in his professional career due to injury. Zero, I can say about most pro players. They will miss a day with a paper cut, Zach Collins. Listen, you can't be worried about it. And Rudy J has said this on R&R in the morning, and I wholeheartedly agree with them. Don't be terrified of something that's not an issue. If you're scared of injuries, you shouldn't be drafting the guy. It's not been an issue in his career. You shouldn't be scared of it unless something catastrophic happens. In that case, it was just ordained by God. Listen, it is really easy to try and pick apart everything we see with all of these prospects. We saw it with Bryce Young. We saw it with CJ Stroud and the S2 test in the NBA. We see it, or in the NFL. We see it in the NBA all the time with different players. You're going to have issues when leading up to something. There's been somebody who has been pegged the number 1 overall pick since he was 14 years old. He's been the number 1 pick this year for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So eventually you have to find the other side of something. And injury is the only thing you can point to, but you can't even point to injury because he's never really been injured. So what are you really pointing at? A possibility of injury? Well, that exists within every single person that you're about to take in this year's draft. Doesn't matter who it is. This guy has been on a pro regimen of taking care of his body longer than anybody else in this draft. Plus, you don't got to worry about him banging with the bigs. He's not a big. He plays on the perimeter. Think of him like Kevin Durant. He's not going to be the guy down low banging against Joel Embiid. Why? Well, I'll explain my plan for that when we come back here on Extra Innings with Pleasure, right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM and ESPNSA.com.
The Miami Heat's improbable postseason run continues.
The Denver Nuggets have finally done it.
This is it. The NBA Finals. The Nuggets and Heat fighting for the championship, the ring, and NBA immortality.
The Heat stopped the Celtics in Boston.
The Denver Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals.
After a long season, a thrilling postseason, it all comes down to the finals. It's the Nuggets.
And the Nuggets win it 113-111.
The Heat.
They become just the second 8 seed ever to make the NBA Finals.
Tonight at 6:30, and only on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
At the Home Depot, we take Father's Day seriously. Why not get doing and give Dad a gift card that gets him out of the house and into new projects? Because the dads who do the most deserve the most, whether he's into woodworking, yard work, or grilling up something for the family. A Home Depot gift card gives your dad the power to get everything he needs to keep doing the most. Shop today for a gift that powers Dad. At the Home Depot, how doers get more done.
She's so smooth, so... I'm interrupting my own shower to remind you to treat your skin like the queen she is with Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash, packed with Olay's highest level of vitamin B3 complex. It's so moisturizing that it will give you visibly smoother, head-turning skin in just 14 days. People wondering, how'd she get so smooth? Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash. Also, try Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy. O'Reilly.
Stay cool this summer with Right now, get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after rebate plus 2 times O Rewards points with the purchase of select AC Pro ready-to-use refrigerant products that include a hose and gauge. If your vehicle's AC is blowing hot air, beat the heat with AC Pro at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save. Right now, buy a DeWalt 20-volt max brushless drill kit for just $99. That's $60 in total savings. Plus, earn up to 3 times the bonus points per dollar when you buy select Eaton multi-packs. Shop in-store or online for deals you can't beat. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 6/1 through 7/5 while supplies last. U.S. only. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 6/30. Subject to change.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and member FDIC.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Dave Ramsey here. The only water softener I recommend is a quality water softener from Connecticut. It really is the last water softener you'll ever own.
ConnecticutSA.com.
And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Looking for a protein-packed snack to power you through the day? Of course you are. Only Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavors you crave. Spicy dill, Korean kimchi, pasilla chili cheese, and more. Take your snacking to a whole new level with Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. And keto fans, you're going to love this low-carb crunch. Get yours at H-E-B and online at southernrecipesmallbatch.com.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
16 teams.
And slams it down.
Down to 2.
Watching the replay, oh my God.
The NBA Finals are on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger. You can follow me on Twitter at I am Pledger. Follow the station at SA Sports Star. Bunch of love on our YouTube feed where you can watch along at San Antonio Sports Star. Speckled Truth says, Pledge, listen to SA Sports Star for a few years now. I'm military stationed at LAC, now at Randolph. Says the shows where I subbed in were some of his favorites. Bring a different level of analysis. I appreciate it. Psycho Ward's asking if I need anybody to help fill in. I am good, my man. I appreciate it. But I take a look at what's going on with Wemby. And look, injuries are always going to be a thing. Yes, he's had a broken bone in his leg. Yes, he's had different injuries that he's played through. And it's going to be an issue with literally any player you have, but none of them have been detrimental to him on the court. That's all you have to worry about. And I understand the thought process with big men and feet. It is, look at Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson has the weight to handle, to bang. He is always hurt. Literally, always hurt. Never healthy because it's too much weight. He can't keep it on. He's not at a healthy level. Wemby is doing everything he can to be in the best shape that he can be. But something we do before I leave the airways here, and since it's normally 6 to 7, but we have some NBA Finals Game 5 tonight, I like to pull one out for the best story of the day. And who I'm pouring it out for today, it's a couple of people. Both of them, their careers are over. First off is going to be Amanda Nunes, the bantamweight champion, 2 belts, hangs it up after her fight this weekend. She is calling it a career. I am very, very intrigued by Amanda Nunes because I don't think she has the hype that came with Ronda Rousey or even Paige Van Zant, but she is far and away the best female combat sports fighter that I have watched, hands down. And she is calling it a career after all this time and walks out on top, what very few people are able to do. And I'd like to pull one out for Amanda Nunes, who is calling it a career in UFC after her big win over the weekend. And secondly, I'd like to pour one out for J.J. Watt and the Houston Texans. They teased a big reveal today. I kind of speculated that it might have been J.J. Watt signing a 1-year deal and retiring a Houston Texan. Well, he is retiring a Houston Texan and going into the Ring of Honor with Cal McNair and Andre Johnson. So congratulations to the Houston Texans. Well done. They have been on fire this offseason with every move that they have made, from the coaching hire to some of the free agency moves to what they did in the draft, double dipping at 2 and 3 with CJ Stroud and Will Anderson, now buying back in. And not only are they getting JJ to retire rightfully, as he should, a Houston Texan, and immediately put him into the Ring of Honor, which I think more teams, when you know they're that, do that. There's no reason to hold back. Dallas Cowboys, what's taking so long with Jimmy Johnson and DeMarcus Ware? This shouldn't be that hard of a thing. There shouldn't be a time limit. He's retired. Put him in the Ring of Honor. Hands down, it needs to be done. Thank you, Houston Texans. Now, not only is he going into the Ring of Honor, but he's doing it when they take on the Steelers, and both of his brothers, Derek and TJ, will be there for his big moment. That is freaking awesome. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in with me here on the debut episode of Extra Innings with Pledger. I am Pledger. I appreciate everybody who's been commenting along on our YouTube feed, on our Kielbasa Smoke Meats phone lines, and of course, on the phone calls at 656 ESPN. We will go till 7 win calls, but next we got the NBA Finals Game 5.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement